Hello, everybody. Apologies on the late start. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties with the mic, but yeah, welcome to another live demo of PSPDFKit. During these sessions, we take some time and kind of demonstrate some of the functionality that you can enable into your applications and talk a little bit more about PSPDFKit and what it can do and bring to your workflows. My name is Richard. I'm the VP of Sales here at PSPDFKit. I've been with the company for roughly about 9 years. So have a lot of information to share today about PSPDFKit, our story, kind of the types of use cases we work in. Alongside me in the background is Guillermo. He is part of our web and R&D team here at PSPDFKit. So he's very well versed in a lot of things around functionality, our documentation. So, if you do have questions throughout the presentation today, we certainly welcome you to drop them in the chat or the questions on the right side. And what that will allow you to do is kind of, steer the conversation if you want to hear certain things, or if you want to have the ability to ask questions about documentation, what's possible, and things like that. So wonderful. So since we're running a little bit behind, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. Cool. So a little bit about PSPDFKit. I'm sharing our homepage right now. PSPDFKit has been in the document space for roughly a decade. We are based out of Vienna, Austria, but over the past couple of years, we've acquired a few companies and expanded to have offices in London, Toulouse, France, as well as Raleigh, North Carolina, and on the East Coast of the US. So a very distributed company. We entered the market primarily as a mobile SDK over a decade ago. So, a lot of our flagship products center around, viewing and manipulating documents in the mobile space. Over the years, we've added to that extensively to provide other tools within other integrations that we'll talk a little bit about today. So, yeah, the cool thing about PSPDFKit is we work with a lot of different types of use cases. So you can see even on our front page, the likes of Autodesk, who are in construction and engineering. You have DocuSign, which is e-signatures and security. Dropbox is cloud storage, and you have Lufthansa as well, which is like aviation. So a lot of different ways that people are currently leveraging PSPDFKit. One of the cool things about our website here at pspdfkit.com is we've got a number of different landing pages depending on maybe what industry you're in, which we can pop into that maybe later. Okay, so wonderful. So we're gonna get started. So one of the first things that I like to do is kind of give an outline of how these typically go. So what you're seeing right now is our feature page. So on the left-hand side, you can see the different software development kits that we provide with, as you see, our flagship products on iOS and Android, and then that migrates as well to, other solutions we've released in the past. So, ideally, what does PSPDFKit do? PSPDFKit, a lot of, PDF rendering manipulations usually happens outside your application. Maybe you have a third-party app, or you're using a web browser, or using something else to help you manipulate PDFs. What PSPDFKit can do is bring all that workflow inside your application so you don't have to leave. You have more security over where your documents are going, and we just provide a lot more than a lot of the standard products in the industry do. So yeah, just a quick run through of different kinds of, apps that you can integrate us in from the SDK side. We have our web standalone and web server backed integration that can be integrated into web apps. Over the past 10 years, we've seen a pretty strong migration to people primarily building out web apps now opposed to mobile apps, mainly because a lot of devices now can run a web browser, making it a little bit more lucrative initially to reach the widest audience going web first. So, a lot of our time and efforts here now at PSPDFKit are spent into expanding and, enabling our users and our people interested in using PSPDFKit on building web apps. Aside from that, we do have mobile apps such as iOS and Android, Windows as well. We've extended support to things like Mac Catalyst, Flutter, and React Native as we see that adoption in the industry continuing to grow. And then more pointed solutions, Electron, Salesforce, SharePoint, things like that. We recognize in certain areas and certain workflows and tools that people commonly use that there's not, very robust PDF rendering and manipulation. So we've extended to put solutions there in place. So all of the SDKs have essentially front-end components as well, so you can manipulate. We also have headless tools for server-side processing for Java, .NET, things like that. So that allows you to programmatically do stuff that we can talk a little bit about. So cool. So we'll jump in. So kind of switching over to this right column. So this is our feature list for PSPDFKit Web Standalone. We call it Web Standalone because it is a client-side integration. There's no server component, so it's fully implemented into the browser. So all the rendering and manipulation happens in your browser, making it super easy to get up and running. And then you can then change where the document's coming from, where it's deployed. So we'll spend a lot of our time demoing the features around this today. But as you see, there's a long list, so we'll go quickly. But the reason for the list is you're able to kind of build your own license with PSPDFKit. So anything we show today can be basically a la carte into a production license that you want. So cool. Awesome. So we'll jump in. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is our viewer. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get our web demo up and running. So you should be able to see this shortly. Let's go here, go web demo. Okay, up and running, fantastic. So what you're seeing is PSPDFKit running in an iframe. So what you have around it, the top with the free trial, the standalone, the sidebar, these are just custom things. What you would actually see when you integrate PSPDFKit is this box here. So, the toolbar here is what you would see. We've done this custom sidebar to allow you to kind of navigate through some examples we have. So our viewer. So the basis of being able to have a good viewer in this industry is that it's fast, it's reliable, and the fidelity is good. So, a lot of things we focus on are things like being able to zoom in and keep, the quality of the document in place. So, you think construction, engineering, drawings like that. So, some of the features that we see with our viewer, are going to be around navigating documents. So, thumbnails, being able to, quickly see a breakdown of what the document is. Other tools like outlines. So, one thing you'll hear me say a lot today on the demo is that, there's a PDF specification that a lot of us follow. So what that means in sense is that when you pull PDFs in different solutions, maybe it's Adobe, maybe it's PSPDFKit, maybe it's Google Chrome in their web browser, a lot of us follow the PDF specs. So things like outlines, when you open up in our tool, are also going to open up correctly in other tools as well. So you can see essentially the outline there allows me to navigate. I'm able to add bookmarks to pages. So I want to do page 1 or something like that here. That's easily solvable. And I can follow the document there. So a couple other viewer features, just, navigating the PDF real quickly, zooming in, zooming out, as we talked about. We do provide a search engine that allows you to search within the PDF. So once you render the document, you can search for keywords and phrases like that. And, being able to download, print, things like that. So one of the benefits of PSPDFKit for sure is that we are able to give you the flexibility of controlling the document lifecycle. What that means is we allow you to pull the document from maybe a URL, maybe from file storage, but then we also allow you the ability to export it or send it where you want to. So, by default on the demo, I have it downloading locally, but, for somebody who might be building a DRM or another solution like that, you might want to be a little bit more picky around how that document moves. So, speaking of DRMs and things like that, one of the questions we often get on these demos is, okay, cool sidebar, can we customize it? Or cool toolbar, can we customize it? And the answer is absolutely yes. So, you see our standard toolbar here. This is just a quick example of how you can quickly disable certain features. So, going back to the DRM example, I want to keep, I want to get rid of exporting. I don't want people to be able to export the document. I don't want people to be able to print the document. I don't want, maybe I'll kill the document editor as well. I don't want people to do stuff like that. So you have the ability to customize the toolbar so that it looks and feels more like what you want it to look like. Our goal is that we fit nicely within your application. It looks like it's part of your application, opposed to being something branded with PSPDFKit. We do light and dark mode as well. So you can see me switching over to that, as well as, there's some other customizations you can do. We can do some theming as well. If maybe your company colors are green and blue, you could customize that. You can also change the icons and stuff. So you can see here at the signature button, we're changing the icon there. So a lot of cool things, and this is only getting expanded more and more. So if you're working with the trial or working with something and something's not fitting right now, you definitely have a conversation with us and let us know, and we can help out. So cool. Take a quick peek at the chat as I go through stuff, just to make sure. Okay, still moving forward, so nothing yet. Cool, awesome, wonderful. Okay, so that's the viewer. I would say, a lot of people come to us interested in our viewer, but the big thing that when we come back to our feature list is annotations. You can see that it has over 22 sub features to it. Comparatively to the rest of our feature list, it's a pretty significant component. There's not a lot of open source tools in the market that does annotation. So being able to mark up tools and things like that is something that a lot of people come to us for. So yeah. Cool. Different types of annotations. There's a lot here to unpack in terms of being able to do annotation. So, probably the easiest one to explain is ink annotation. So that's being able just to draw on a document. So I will quickly load the demo for that. So there we go. So ink annotations, you're loading. So just drawing on a PDF. We have something called an annotation inspector, which gives you the flexibility to change what the defaults are. If you want certain colors, you want to change certain things. You can also go back and edit certain ink annotations and change them as well if you need to. Let's say you need to put a backfill here, but you need to change the opacity of it so it's more see-through. So a lot of flexibility here. You can have certain presets as well if you need that. When you're working with PSPDFKit. So yeah, that's ink annotations with drawings. We just have a highlighting feature if you need to highlight certain parts of the PDF, as well as like a text highlighter where you actually select the text itself. One of the cool APIs we have is that you can actually extract the text underneath the highlight as well. And then if we need to, go back, and we don't like some of this, maybe we'll erase it and get rid of it. I'll make the erase a little bit bigger so I can be a little bit more effective. So yeah, some cool things about annotations. Other annotation types, the ability to add an image to a PDF. So if you need to upload an image annotation, we do that. Let's see if I can find one quick on so I will add our logo here. So that's an image annotation. Maybe I want to replace the logo here. We'll do that. So wonderful. Also can add stamps. We follow the same stamp design as Adobe, so that, if some of these were added at some point to the document with another viewer, those are going to render correctly for us. We also give you the ability to do custom stamps. So like I can do a custom stamp. I can change the color. I can also upload an existing stamp design. So we've got some cool customers. Like we have a customer that works in the insurance industry where they use custom stamps to recreate car accidents and stuff like that. So like they have stamps for like cars, cones, roads, things like that. And so they recreate the accidents and things like that using stamps. So a lot of flexibility in use cases there. On top of that, we have note annotations to leave notes. You can change the icon, text annotations if you need to typed annotations. There's also an inspector here. All right, that's not spelled right, so we'll change that. As well as call out annotations. So call out annotations would be, okay, I want to, okay, who is this person? Cool. So I can do a call out annotation and drag that there and figure out, nice call out annotation. The last one to show would be shape annotations. So, just drawing shapes. I think we do a lot of great stuff around certain industries. So like we've added something like cloud annotations with the extent that, we know in construction and engineering, the construction and engineering industry, that cloud annotations are something that's really, really popular. So that's included on an annotation type. So cool. So that's annotations. Last thing I would probably show is like if you're looking for like something like an editor, if the document's been OCR'd, you can also select text and things like that. So if I select this text down here and highlight it, I can do that. I can also do strike through, underline, things like that. You can also do the pop over and things like that. So check the chat real quick. Cool. Awesome. Yes, form fields, we're going to get there and talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, annotations. So that is that. So the next stop on our journey would be forms. So PSPDFKit supports PDF acro forms. So PDF acro forms allow you to do a couple cool things. Essentially being able to fill out and bind certain annotations to certain parts of the PDF. So what you see here is a PDF form that we've programmatically filled out. So we've mapped these form fields to a database or something of that sort. So what you're seeing is that this stuff is pre-filled out. So first name, last name, things like that. We've got check boxes that we support as well as radio buttons. But, obviously with form fields, we can also we can change this into manually entry. So again, kind of following that path of like, we're one part of your workflow. You render the document, you can programmatically pre-fill some of these fields and map them. But also when you submit the document, you can also follow that information somewhere as well. So you're able to, pull in that information and do what you want with it. So this has all been programmatically filled. I've got other forms here that haven't been. So, I can come in here and put Johnny Smith, and email things, okay. So that would be form viewing and filling. We've had a lot of feedback lately about being able to manipulate forms as well, especially with tools like DocuSign and things like that being really prevalent. Sending stuff out for signature. Maybe you have forms that you need to edit, they're outdated. So what we've enabled is the ability to essentially come in and create new form fields. So maybe I want to add a second signature box here. Instead of having the date field, I can put this here. I can change the appearance of it. Let's try and get this as close as I can to the one I have in place. But what this will allow me to do, and then I can map and stuff like that. So if I download it and I open it up with another viewer, those forms will be there. I can also edit existing forms, things like that. But we have all types of different form fields you can add. I can add radio buttons. I can add drop downs, so you're able to manipulate forms quite a bit. So you can do buttons or widgets that help you pull to certain things. So a lot of ability to customize forms now compared to what we see. You can also drag and drop certain things. So like, if you use DocuSign or another thing, so if you wanted to build the sidebar to drag and drop things, it's really helpful. So question, here's a sample that feels Source Amplify, I really appreciate it. Cool, awesome. Guillermo's on it. So yeah, keep the questions coming and things like that. Cool. So probably the next thing on our journey. So like, if we look at, let's go back to the main website and we'll go to the feature list. So, we've talked about viewing, form viewing and filling, form creator and annotations. Okay, so these are some of the core use cases of PSPDFKit. The next one that we commonly see is signature support. So there's two types of signatures when it comes to PDF. There's electronic signatures and digital signatures. So if I look at electronic signatures, so what electronic signature is it's essentially an annotation. So you're annotating the document. So in this case, we have a form field that's designated as a signature box. When I click on it, it pulls up our signature UI. So I sign with the signature UI, and it binds it and sizes it to the box. That's an electronic signature. So I can download this, keep it there. I can also use the UI up here to also do it, and it'll drag it there. Delete this, and then I can always resize it. So whether there's a form field present or not, I can always, let's say maybe I just need to add initials or something. I can always use the signature UI and then drag and drop it. So that's one way. But an e-signature is essentially an annotation type that allows you to sign a PDF. You can download it, you can flatten it. You can see here we have a annotation log on the sidebar where you could basically do timestamps and things like that. So you could figure out when it was done, who did it, and things like that. But it's annotation. Again, on forms as well, if there's signature boxes, you can grab it. We can do that. There's a couple different ways for you to do it. You could upload a signature if you wanted to. So I'm going to upload my signature as PSPDFKit. There's my signature here. I could also type it here. So there's a lot of different ways to sign PDFs, and that's all through our electronic signature component. Okay. What ends up happening though is, sometimes electronic signature doesn't have enough validation for certain requirements. So this is where digital signatures come in. So a digital signature essentially is signing a PDF with a digital certificate. We at PSPDFKit provide you basically the APIs and everything to basically apply and verify digital signatures that you're applying. We're not a certificate authority per se, so you'll have a signature, you'll come in, you can still use the signing UI, you apply the certificate, and now essentially what PSPDFKit does, it recognizes there's a certificate on the PDF. It's saying it's digitally signed, it's valid, and so that the person who signed it is who they were when they signed it, and the document has not been manipulated since it was signed. So in essence, it's a really good way to verify the authenticity of documents. The cool part about what PSPDFKit does is we uphold the standard. So like in the element that if I would download this and then manipulate the document, it would invalidate the signature itself. So you get an error after I sign it that the signature has been invalidated. So pretty nifty feature if you're in the signing space or you're maybe using another solution for signing and things like that. So okay. A couple of questions came in. Okay, Guillermo's still rocking away. Okay, cool. So we're about 26 minutes in, about halfway through our feature list. So document editor. So one of I think the big pain points that we see with working with PDFs is that when you need to merge or change the document itself, it becomes very difficult because there's limited tools to do that. So often when you have two documents, you have to merge, manipulate, you have to leave PSPDFKit, you have to change the document, and you have to come back into PSPDFKit. So what we've done is we've enabled a document editor component that gives you basically a pop-up. It gives you an overview of the entire document you're working with. So what I'm able to do now is I'm able to change the ordering of the page. I can change the orientation of the PDFs itself. I can duplicate pages. I can delete pages. I can even import another document that I might want to. Cool. The next thing on our list was redaction. So redaction is a fun one. There's a lot of tools in this space that claim to do redaction. However, when you actually inspect the document, it's not always removed. What I say removed is the underlying text. So when we look at a PDF here, what we see a lot of people do in the space is, they'll render a document, and what they'll do is, okay, we're going to search for the word demo PDF. Okay, we've got one instance of it here, 1 out of 1. What a lot of redaction tools we see sometimes is they put a black box over it, they fill it in, and they download it. Okay, so from appearance, it does look like it's gone. But when I render the document back, yay, looks like it's gone. But when I search for demo PDF, I'm still getting that hit because it's still on the document. So one of the cool things about our redaction tool is, let's start from scratch. Let's see, we'll reset. Okay, let's go back in. Okay, so instead, I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to choose my redaction tool here. All right, all in a webinar. I'm going to apply the redaction. Okay, so when I search demo PDF now, I get no hits because we've removed it from the PDF. It's true redaction. So really, really proud of this. It's a very difficult thing to do. So, you can see a couple different things. We have text redaction that you can apply. We have area redaction. So maybe we want to remove this applicant's picture. But there's a lot of flexibility around redacting certain things on a PDF. And so, one of the cool things as well is you can put an overlay. So an overlay annotation on the redaction so you can see maybe why it was redacted as well. So we've also built out some pre-built examples of being able to search for certain things. So like our built-in redaction tools, we have something called Smart Redaction, which looks at the document, analyzes it, and here on the left side, you can see all the stuff it's auto-detecting while the document's being rendered. So essentially, emails, credit card numbers, things like that. It's looking for that kind of stuff when it renders the document so that when it does render, supposed to create a custom tool like a dropdown. Yes. When it does render, it allows you the ability to apply the redactions to those things like that as well. So super cool kind of tool to use. All right. Go back to the web page, feature list. Okay, wonderful. So you've seen quite a bit already. So viewing, forms, annotations, signatures, document editor, redaction. We've talked about Office files, image documents, PDF compliancy and stuff like that. So there's only a few more tools that we probably want to go over. Okay. So we have content editor and then some specific stuff to the construction industry. So, content editing is something that we're really excited about here at PSPDFKit. So a lot of the stuff you've seen us do today has been adding an additional layer to the PDF. So we annotate, we're not touching the initial PDF at all. We're adding an additional layer each time, and you can export that layer. What content editing does is it'll allow you actually to edit the PDF itself. So you can see that I've got text on this PDF. What it allows me to do is do a couple things. I can move paragraphs now if I want to. I can also edit the text as well. So this was a webinar on November 2nd, 2023. Okay, so then I can override and save the document itself. I think it's a little bit more relevant when you look at things like maybe a magazine viewer or something like that. So like maybe I'm looking at the magazine viewer, or other types of documents where there's a little bit more text. So maybe there's a spelling error here, or maybe I just don't like this anymore. So I'm going to find my content editing tool, and I can change stuff like that. So content editing is a really good tool if you're working with forms, things like that. But it allows you to essentially, let's say, oh, I forgot the company name here. So I can change that, or the slide title, I could change that. So it gives me a lot more flexibility on the slide title. So slide title, this is page 2. Okay. So content editing. There's limited tools in the space that do this. So I think we're really excited about this. We have more plans to expand this to other functionality around it as well. So, The last two features to talk about are a little bit more niche. They're more specific to actually certain industries. We work heavily in the construction and engineering industry because their document workflows are centered largely around PDFs. So one of the things we were asked to support was the ability to support the ability to measure PDFs. So I'm setting the scale, and now I'm able to actually measure the distance between documents itself. So you can see that's 4 inches there. I can change the color if I want to, but it's a nice tool for being able to measure circumferences, measuring surface area, things like that. So you can see me coming down to the bottom, and then I can resize it if I need to, if I want to figure out how big this circle is. So a lot of different use cases for this. We see this in construction and engineering. We see this in like health and insurance for like EKGs. We see this in real estate. There's a lot of different use cases for using the measurement tools. And then the additional one that we've built right now for vector-based PDFs is the ability to compare 2 different documents. So what we allow you to do is, if you see in the right-hand corner, the top right-hand corner, you see the selection. I'm going to pick 3 spots on the PDF that are the same. So I'm going to try and get them as closely as possible. Here's my second PDF. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit, make my life easier. So I'm going to go here. So pick 3, and then what it does, it overlays the PDFs on top of each other so you can see the difference between them. So you can see that we have a wall change here. We have a wall change here. This is off as well, but it's a good way to overlay documents, specifically PDFs, and see the differences of them as well. So, cool. Any questions? Wonderful. Okay, so this is a quick overview of kind of all the different solutions that PSPDFKit Web Standalone can support. We have a couple other things that if we couple this with one of our server-side tools, we can enable. But there's a lot of things here that are super cool and important. One of the things I typically try to leave people with is we looked at the industry several years ago and saw that PDFs really hadn't evolved in a long time in the way people work with them. So we took a look at tools like Google Docs, other ones that were really kind of providing more collaborative workflows. And we built a tool called PSPDFKit Instant. It's a lot like what it sounds like. So essentially what it does is these are 2 different instances of PSPDFKit running. Maybe I'm working on my browser, maybe Guillermo's working on his, but what it does, it enables a real-time collaboration element to working with documents, so that anytime the document's updated, it updates everyone that has access to it. It's fantastic for conflict resolution. So if you have multiple people always collaborating on a document, filling out forms, doing any sort of kind of like any type of like teamwork on a document, it's really, really helpful, because what it does is, like, even if someone sends, if someone deletes a page and then uploads it, it's going to send a message to everyone that they need to reload the document because it's not the latest version. So this is great for team environments. It's great for people that maybe move across different devices, maybe on my desktop, maybe they go to a mobile device. There's a lot of different ways that this can really provide value. And one of those that we see is like the threaded commenting. So we were able to have a sidebar conversation on the document, which is really difficult to have with the standard spec. So you can put author names, things like that, but you can really benefit from using Instant. And it's still a self-hosted tool like the rest of our offering, but it can really empower you to be able to kind of take your workflow to the next thing. We see it used in board meetings, architects, construction. We see it used with teachers and students, all different types of use cases that, maybe there's a presenter or people collaborating on the same document. So super helpful. So cool. So that has been PSPDFKit for web. It's, again, one of our most popular tools that we're selling today. We do have other ones such as iOS and Android. There are other places on the website where you can even launch a quick demo of PSPDFKit for iOS to check it out. So like, here's our iOS SDK. It's not really coming in really good on the screen share, but you can definitely come in and have the ability to test kind of on our mobile SDKs as well, right? If you want to spin up the full evaluation version for the SDK, maybe you've joined this webinar and you haven't actually tried the framework itself. It's as easy as going to get started, coming in here and picking what platform. So today we worked on web, the front end. Let's go with Angular. It's one of the most popular ones we see. It's a new project, and I hit get started. It takes me to a guide. I spin everything up, and then I'm able to evaluate that entire component list with everything included, minus a watermark, and that allows you to really evaluate PSPDFKit in your own environment. So cool. If you have technical questions, we have people like Guillermo all over the world waiting to help you. So feel free to reach out to support, things like that. If you're looking for pricing, there's a contact sales button. I'm also going to put my personal information in the chat if people want to reach out to me directly. But yeah, just looking for people to come in, give us a little bit idea of what you're interested in, and then we can get you set up with a call to understand your use case, what license you need, what features you need, and get you a custom quote quickly. But if you don't want to go through that, you can schedule a call with one of our awesome SDRs, which will, if you wanted to talk to us today, it looks like we've got some availability later this afternoon. I'm available at 4:30 if anybody wants to chat. You can also email us, or you can go directly to technical support. So PSPDFKit is a widely distributed company. We've got solution engineers, salespeople, marketing people all over the world. So we'd love to hear a little bit more about you and your use case. I'm dropping my information below, so that if anybody wants to reach out to me directly, maybe you're in the evaluation or anything like that, I'm happy to help along with that. But wonderful. So yeah, that's PSPDFKit. It's a quick look at what we can do and all the functionality. Remember, we've got documentation for you. Nothing's gatekept. You can come in and look at absolutely everything we have available, including APIs, documentation on how to customize the sidebar, and walk you through that. We have stuff about the form designer. We try to make the evaluation as pain-free as possible so that you can get an idea. We have an AI integration into our documentation to help you as well. We also have the solutions pages that we talked about at the beginning. So, if someone's sitting here in construction, I would definitely suggest, checking out this landing page. Showcases a couple of the companies we work for, how you can use us within your application to get value, as well as maybe some suggestions at the bottom of like what components that you might want to use. So wonderful. I think we've got one or two more questions coming through. This is recorded, so it will be sent to you. Be sure to check your spam if it hasn't popped up in a couple of days. I'm happy to always organize a more custom webinar. We try to hit everything. If we want to dig in on anything else, we can do that. But pricing, pricing options, please contact our sales team. It's a little bit different depending on which product that you're interested in. So if you have reached out to the sales team, we're probably in the process of getting you a quote as soon as possible. If you haven't, I strongly suggest that, and we can get something over to you within a day or so. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, if there's nothing else, I certainly appreciate everyone's time and joining this. We do these about every 2 weeks. If there's any feedback, feel free to send it to me. Love to hear how we can continue to iterate on these and make these more valuable for, customers, potential customers, and things like that. But again, I'm Richard. I'm part of the sales team. Big thanks to Guillermo for helping me out today. We look forward to seeing you next time. All right, everybody have a great Thursday.